Hello, my likable friend. It's Yoshi here. In today's class, we are going to implement the Nano Project 0 setup, the coding environment. Alright, let's go to the project description. The item 1 of 3 says download and install the VS Code. The item 2 of 3 says customize it for HTML and JavaScript development. The last item says check if your web browser is proper. Now let's get hands-on. Nice. The first thing you should do is go into any web browser and search for VS Code download. Like this. Probably the first result is the one we are looking for. When you click on it, if you see a web page like that, just make sure that the address starts with code.visualstudio.com. If the address is correct, so you can download the proper installer for your operating system. As you can see, we have installers for Windows, Linux, different versions, right? Different kinds of installers, and for Mac OS. After the download, just follow the next finish approach. In other words, just follow the standard installation. Very good. After the installation, if you run VS Code, you are supposed to see a screen like this. Nice. Item 1 done. The first configuration we should apply is picking a working folder, a folder where you're going to place the files we are going to create for this course. For example, you can open a folder by clicking here on this option. Another way is going to this menu at the top, file menu, and then open folder. The result is going to be the same. So you are going to browse your files and pick a working folder. In my case, I'm going to pick this folder here, my likable coding classes. Double click on it and then open button. Don't get scared if you see this window. It's just asking you if you trust this folder. I suppose you're going to pick a trusted folder, right? Just click on the right button. Perfect. See? Now you can see an Explorer window on the left side and then your selected working folder, right? Now, whenever you create a file here or a subfolder, we're going to see inside your working folder. For example, file 1 text. See? I just created, right? I write some blah 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 inside. Take that. So I'm inside the folder, my likable coding classes, and I can see the file I just created, file 1. If I open, I can see the same content I just created on VS Code, right? If I delete here, woohoo, daddy, it's going to be deleted from here. And the same thing if I create here, right? File 2, text file, I just created here. Let me add some content, a lot of W's, just save. If I go back to VS Code, I can see the file 2. Ooh, mommy. And with the same content. So now we have a working folder on our VS Code. I can change my working folder. Just go to File, Open Folder, and pick another folder whenever you want. And the last configuration we should apply is adding some extensions to our VS Code. We click on this icon here, extensions. We search for live server. We're going to install only 2 extensions. This one, live server, should be this one, live server install. And the second extension is this, live preview. Look this blue icon, Microsoft Creator, click on install. Both are going to be installed and ready to use after a few seconds. Quite simple. Alright, now our VS Code is ready for our likable classes. Item 2 done. The last item in our Nano project is to check if we have a proper browser installed for our course. The recommended browsers for this course are Google Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera, and Chromium. If you have one of those 5 browsers, you're fine. Please use one of them in our classes. Hey Yoshi, what about Firefox and Safari? I like them, I love them. Unfortunately, you can't use them.
So the last item is done. Nice. Now let's talk about the concepts and theories that helped us to implement the project.
What is VS Code? Actually, VS Code is a nickname. The real name is Visual Studio Code. To be more precise, the real name is Microsoft Visual Studio Code, but we'll keep calling it VS Code the entire course, okay? VS Code is an IDE. And what is an IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. It is a kind of text editor on steroids. Also, an IDE has a lot of very useful coding tools. Let me show you some of the most remarkable features of an IDE. The text is colored according to the coding elements. Code autocomplete. Search in multiple files. It is possible to power up the IDE by adding some extensions. And VS Code has over 40,000 extensions available. And why did I install the extensions Live Server and Live Preview? It is because as we're going to code using HTML and JavaScript, those extensions are very helpful for us. They speed up our coding because by using them, it is way more fast to test our code.
What are the frequently asked questions and common mistakes for that project?
Why do I have to use specific browsers? It is because the recommended browsers have a common internal tool. This is the DevTools. Both Chrome, Brave, Opera, Edge, Chromium have the exact same DevTools. And we are going to use this tool in many of our classes. Other browsers have tools like this. They're similar, but not the same. Yoshi, please help me. I couldn't install VS Code. I got an error during the installation. No worries, my friend. Let's talk about the most common causes. Firewall. Maybe you have an active firewall that is blocking the installation. Check your firewall and its configuration. Security constraints. This one happens often when you use a company's computer because some companies install a lot of security constraints. That includes software installation. So if you use a company computer, check if you have any constraints to install new software. Wrong installer. In the VS Code download page, there are a lot of installers available. Check if you downloaded the proper installer for your operating system architecture. And the last cause might be the lack of disk space. Check your free disk space before resume the installation. According to VS Code requirements page, you need at least 500 megabytes. But as we're going to install some extensions and create a lot of files for our course, you better have at least 1 gigabyte of free disk space. Feel free to write out a comment with questions, suggestions, or what else you want.
Many thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you wanna thank me, just hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do believe you can code.